Probably shouldn't do that.
No.
Probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Did you say do it?
Do it.
What you laughing about?
I'm
It's
excited.
time for the Jumpstart Talk Show.
I'm excited. That's what I'm here. Yes.
Okay, laughter is like medicine, and that's what today's gonna be with me, DeeMcNair. We're on the air. It is Jamal Meyers in the house, everybody. It is time to jumpstart your life with me, with Jamal, and we're gonna do it right. Now, Jamal,
yes.
I like the way you said, let's do it.
Yeah.
But when you said, I felt something.
I felt it too.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we came on the air. Everybody, we're going to dive right in because we talk about what you want to talk about, what you don't want to talk about, everything in between. We were talking about Lion King. Us adults.
Yes.
Adults.
That's my favorite movie.
That's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Ooh, I tremble. And we were talking about that. You know, when you hear them say that, it's kind of like, sister.
Yeah.
And girls, down. I got to go. But don't worry, guys. This is like hanging out with my big brother. I may be a year and a half times something like that older than Jamal, but it is like being with my big brother. I was telling Jamal just the other day, no matter where I am, this man, he is going to speak. He shows not only respect, he shows honor for a lady. And you know, that's me. I'm a lady. But you are a man. Man doing big things.
Yes, ma'am.
Doing great things.
Trying.
Yes.
Yes.
Trying is all we can do. Because if we don't try, we have surely failed. Yeah. But when we try, we are guaranteed to sail on and sail on to something better.
I like how you said that.
Sail on to something better.
That's nice.
Now, you know, we're going to get into something. And I'm trying to do my audition so I can write some lyrics. That's all I want to say. But today, Jamal, I want to talk about, man, what's going on with you?
Everything's great. Everything's great. Where you want me to start, I guess.
Well, you better tell everybody the last name because I'm going to give you some information. I know y'all are going to want to connect up with this hot commodity. He is not on the stock exchange because you couldn't afford him anyway. But I'm going to give you some info at the end of the show on how to connect with Jamal. Tell him your full name. Tell him who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Jamal Mighty Quinn Meyers. I'm from Durham, North Carolina. Yes, there you go. From Durham, North Carolina, one of the great cities, the Bull City.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
919 to the 25. And, you know, but yeah, my name is Jamal Meyers. Do music, poetry, rap, engineering as well.
That's what you call an intellectual man who happens to have a heart to write the poetry, who has the talent to put the melody to it.
Yeah.
And then he has the gift to make it swiftly flow out there because we know the CD is coming.
Sound like you're doing spoken word right now.
That's what I'm talking about. So we're going to play with it. I want to play with it. I know about the poetry. Okay, so we're gonna do a little ad-libbing, okay? So I want you to give me 2 words, and I'm going to see what I can do with your 2 words because I'm auditioning. It's my show. I can audition. Go ahead. Give me 2 words.
Jump, start.
I'm going to jump, and then I'm going to bump. Because I'm going to start, because I'm not tired. I'm the girl you see that you want to be with me. Because when I'm with Jamal, hey, it's better than the mall. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I want a check. Don't let y'all be fooled because I'm playing around, but this is the man who does the poetry. So let's back up.
Okay.
I don't want to start with the past. I want to start with the present. We were talking about poetry, music. Now, what kind of music? Are we talking about folk music, bluegrass music, rap music, or are we talking about music that simply is expression of the soul?
I like how you said it on the last one. It's definitely rap music.
Okay.
I'll try to do my little singing thing here and there, but it's all about vibes. I write off of how I feel, and because I mean, Big Crit is one of my favorite rappers. So something he said in the song "The Vent" was, "If it doesn't touch my soul, I can't listen to it." So that's something that just resonated within me and my penmanship. So I don't want to write anything that I could just, that's like fast food. I like taking my time.
I like that. If it doesn't touch his soul, it won't be told.
Shout out to Big Crit.
Yeah.
Holla at me, bro.
Wow. Ooh. Hey, whatever. Feel me, man. So when it touches your soul and you say you like to write from what you're feeling, I hope there's some happy feelings. You know, a lot of people think rap's all negative. It's not.
No, it's not. Rap
quite often is history
that's
being told in a story.
Too. Yes, that's actually a big thing. That's Like whenever I'm out and about and they be like, yo, you do music? I say, yeah, I do music. They be like, what you do? I say, I rap. And then it just seems like it's slightly as if it's like already a preconception of what my music is without actually taking time to listen to it. So I'm glad that you said that.
Well, no, positive is good, but I also like that rap does tell a story. So now tell me, you know, we were talking about who you inspired by, but what inspired you to consider rap to tell your feelings?
That's a good question. So it's actually a story behind. I can't just answer that.
We got time. Hey, don't we have time? Everybody at home, go get your popcorn. Go get your popcorn.
All right, cool.
Your cola.
Yes. So it all started. I like how I opened it up. So yeah, it started up when I was in school. I was probably like in second grade, third grade, probably like second grade, whenever you're learning the spellings and stuff. And at the time, I was just struggling so bad to learn how to spell, learn how to write. And it literally just like frustrated me that everybody else around me was excelling in this. And I'm young, like we're all young, granted, but it was just the fact where I couldn't remember what letters coming after another to spell Wednesday, Saturday, and it started with the week. But I would go to my mother and my grandma and just my family and just say, like, I can't do it. I will always say I can't do it and doubt myself. So it went from there to them, like, because my family, they don't play that.
They don't play
they
that.
Don't play
I
that.
know the family. And I want you to know I'm very honored to be in the presence of your family member. Please don't come hunt me down. No, just
No. But it's a wonderful thing, like as far as what they would do, because as a kid seeing everybody else excel and you just feel little and you feel like you can't do it, and just me saying I can't, and to the point where I was believing that as a child, to the point where my grandma, she just stopped. She's like, you can do that. She'll let me go ahead on like saying how, just spill all my emotions out. Like, you can do that. And it came to a point where she was like, stop. She said, go in there and write. Go in there and write. She said, spell this, spell that, spell this, spell that. And before I knew it, I was just spelling, and it grew confidence within myself. So it started off by not knowing how to spell and feeling that I couldn't succeed in spelling, to from there going into writing stories. And that's like a big jump. So it went from writing, not knowing how to spell, into writing stories. And man, those are some phenomenal writings. Like I started off with just short stories because I used to always like watching the stuff my mother said I couldn't watch.
Yes, I can only imagine that you probably had a little Mr. Street.
Yes, but it all sparked the imagination, and I'm real big on imagination, and like I believe when I write, I can create a world in which I may not be living in, but others may be living in. I can just tell a story, and that's how it was. It started with just horror stories. Just a lot of stories.
Oh, it started with horror stories.
Yeah.
Now, I know it sounds silly. I'm just being real.
But not starting.
A horror story ain't all that positive. Let's just wait a
way
minute now. Horror story isn't all that positive because today, this year, most of them don't end on a good note.
Yeah. But that's why I say it goes back to the stuff where my mother was saying, don't watch that, don't watch that. I was like, but then I watched it. I was like, man, this is dope. But I was scared. But,
it moved.
But if I didn't do what the opposite of what my mother said, I probably wouldn't be a rapper. So, I didn't even go for that.
Wait a minute now. You said if you hadn't done the opposite of what your mother said, you may not be a rapper. So parents, stop freaking out. Just chill. Because, Jamal, I was saying this, like I said, we were conversing, and I was saying, so often parents, adults, leaders, as we like to call ourselves, feel like because it isn't done our way in our timing, somehow it can't possibly prosper, be successful, be productive. But know that you learn by experience.
Yeah.
And so I don't take it to be so much disobedience as that was the journey, the path you had to take to get to this stopping point on your way to the mountaintop. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. It's so young people, old people, in between, whoever you are, just know where you're at on that mountain. You need to put the pick in a little bit deeper, hang on, but at the same time, you might need to swing to the right, swing to the left, take a peek what's on the other side of that mountain. That might motivate you just like it did GaMal to get on the other side. I thought I lost the earring. No, I got it. We gotta be cute on camera. Gotta be cute. Y'all see me trying to catch that hair there, trying to be cute. So now, that wasn't the end though.
No.
So Grandma said you can do it. You learned how to spell. You started writing. Some of them might have been horror stories, but it started building from there. Where did it go from there?
So from there, all right, so now that was one side of it. And then growing up, my dad always played like Tupac and Biggie and just like the classic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We all know there is nothing like a smile. And he's trying to have biceps, bless his heart. But Tupac, you put him down. Okay, I felt a sizzle. Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. McNair, I know you're behind the camera there. Sorry. Hi. I love you, honey. Love you. Okay. As you were saying, GaMal.
Yes. Nice way to say that.
Yeah. I'm trying to say it, but I gotta go home.
But yeah, my dad, he would pick us up and then just play. Oh my gosh, like that's probably why I'm getting ahead of myself because I know I want to say. But anyway, we're gonna go into what I'm about to say now. So it's Tupac. Playing the good classic hip hop music, and then oftentimes whenever I play my music, it's just like this ain't music, this ain't doing nothing. Why are you listening to this? But you know that's another story. But it was just the fact where he would just play the uncensored music, and it motivated me because it wasn't the fact where it was watered down, you know, and it wasn't the fact that I was just uncensored. It was the fact where it was messages within the song, and I was able to pick that up at a young age, like Tupac, Keep Your Head Up. That was very motivational.
Very.
So, and Brenda Has a Baby, that was another strong song. So it went from one background when I was like, okay, I can't really write to writing stories, and then have my father play music. So then we usually freestyle in the car, you know, and then just messing around. And it turned out to where I was just started writing. First, I just started writing, and it was horrible. My first few rounds was horrible. But then when I wrote my piece in which I was happy of, it didn't have any instrumental on it, and I was like, man, like this is something that I felt like, okay, maybe I can not also just write stories, but I could also do music. So the first, man, I still remember the first piece. It was can I?
Yeah. I'm feeling it.
You
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
All
I want
right.
to hear.
All right.
Let me get my.
All right.
You know, I had to get my rhythm. I'm not naturally motivated. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So, let me see. It's called Confidence of the King. Yeah. So it's hold your head. Let me drink some water first and get it.
It ain't spiked, is it?
No. It's like, hold your head up high when you walk, have pride. They must know you contain more knowledge than these guys. See them, they just dumb. You can view it in their eyes. They know you're going to be successful, so see who they despise. But why? Why do they hate and try to ruin your dreams? It's because they know you're only one fit to be a king, it seems. But they hate on you for all the wrong reasons. Pretend that they're your friends, switch up on you like the seasons do. So take this as a lesson from me to you. I'm just speaking on the things that I've been through. So stay true and never be phony. Keep your mind on success and your hand in the money. With your head in the books, you blow past these dummies. Close your mouth, open up your ears, you can learn something from me. Cause I'm smart-ish, and I speak on my own. Pay attention to the confidence of a king, not his crown and his throne. So that was when I was like, okay, like that was a life-changing moment. I was like, man, like I felt good on that one. But
you should. I mean, the people right here in the studio are feeling it.
Yeah.
The confidence of a king.
Yeah.
So it isn't about the crown. It isn't about the throne.
No.
It's about the king.
And that's something my dad had always instilled in us. You know, it's not just about the riches. It's about your character.
So your character was coming out in that song because it shows that your character wasn't created overnight.
No.
I listened to what you were saying about watching and doing things that maybe your parents didn't want you to do, but it built your character. It built more than just confidence. It built your character to the point that you not only knew you could be a king, you started to identify with the fact you are a king. And that's riches from the inside out. And those are riches, like I said, a commodity that's not on the stock exchange because you can't afford it. And even if you could afford it, you couldn't handle it. And that's what, I mean, seriously, I think that's what people need to realize. A lot of young people, when I say young, I'm talking about under the age of 10. You are trying to be something that everyone told you you are or should be. But when you realize being me is what you should be, you're all that you can be. And that's what I want to really, say to you all. You heard that, and some of you got kids in the room, and when they started bopping or nodding, or you saw their eyes light up, you walked out the room, or you kind of almost dissed your child. He was speaking about the riches from the inside out, because there's a king or a queen sitting in the room. And what will we do to invest in our king and our queen? Will we serve them at their throne? Because you're only going to be a child once. Hopefully. There's a scripture about it. We ain't going there. But a lot of us are going to have our young people, taking care of us. And what we want them to know is there's a king on the inside.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not fighting to get on the outside. It's already there. But you got to see that king. So when you wrote that, how old do you think you were?
I was in my adolescent stage. So I was
we're talking under 16?
Probably right at 16.
Oh, that's a difficult time in itself. Difficult time in itself.
Yeah, because I was going through I won't even say self-identity, but it's just just growing up. It's just a part of growing up where it's like you think you belong in this crowd and you go with that crowd. You think you the macho. It was like that until I had wrote that piece. I was like, man, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I don't have to follow the crowd, either like me or don't. But I can only be me.
Oh wow.
I can only be me.
So that's 16.
Yeah.
I know I used to come across you. I ain't gonna say on the street, out in the streets. People don't realize you don't run into all your friends in some fancy restaurant, in a church, even in the club. Sometimes it's just walking down the street. And I used to say to you sometimes, I'd say, what's up? Where you going? What you doing? And you would always answer, but it'd be such a brief answer because you'd ask me, how are you? What's going on with you? Looking good. And now when I hear you recite this piece from back when you were 16, I feel like you were already imparting into the kingdom like a king does something positive. Because you would always turn that around and it'd be concern for me. Not because I looked like something wasn't okay. You just were concerned about what was going on in my life. And so you get to 16, you've written this piece. I'm going to hear that piece on the radio. I know I am. I'm going to hear that piece on the radio. And you hit 18. You're graduating from high school. And now I know I was one of the people, everybody's expecting you to go to college. At that time, did you know you wanted to write music? Or were you focused on college, not realizing you were going to come back to this heart piece of writing music?
It was
and lyrics.
It was actually some of both. It was I always have a busy mind. That's why it takes me time to gather my thoughts. But when I was young, I've always had a thing for engineering. Well, excuse me, a thing for roller coasters.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what got me into
You know that.
Yeah.
I like to ride.
Yeah, that's what got me excited into doing school and math and science. And so I was already had the mindset of going to college. That's what I'm trying to say. But I knew that rapping would be, at the time, it was just a hobby. It was just a hobby, just a kid writing out his thoughts on a piece of paper. But I knew school came first. I knew that, so I had respected that because that's how it is in the household. But
we'll hear that somebody, respect. I need a little respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Respect. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Just, you know, we parents have to do that every once in a while. Respect. Curse again. Respect. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I always had the mindset of going to college. Like that wasn't the fact where I was shying away or anything. So I was embracing that, but I didn't really. It was actually going. Matter of fact, yeah, actually going to college is the reason why I'm rapping in front of people now, because
college helped you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, parents, I know some of y'all are rolling over on the floor. Woo! You mean to tell me I'm paying all that money for him to go to college, her to go to college, so she can get comfortable rapping?
Oh my God!
Help me, Lord. Woo.
Oh my God!
Elizabeth, I'm coming to see you. Woo. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to get over there, y'all. I'm sorry. As a parent, I know what that college bill looks like. Woo. Yeah. I'm praying for your parents. I know they had to be praying too. Woo. Okay, I'm over it now.
No, but we got scholarships though. We were very smart, and when we went for what we wanted, because I have two passions. That's engineering, like I said with roller coasters earlier. That's always been like one of my things, just like as if just my music is. So I knew I was gonna go there, and if I was to succeed in rapping, then cool. But like I already know, like if I didn't, at least I have engineering to fall back on. You know,
a king's wisdom. Amen and amen.
Yeah, but that's just, I don't know, I thank God through it all, because like when I was in college, it was stressful trying to balance that and trying to pass classes as well. I speak on that in a couple of songs, but when I have a passion, because I knew it was a passion when I literally stayed up late nights and would just write rhymes, and when I would
not
try
studying, writing rhymes.
No, I was studying.
Okay,
I was studying, but I often I had one paper for my math, another paper for my rhymes, and I just sit there. I was like, man, but this is more fun. Like this is what I want to do, and it was just the fact where I had to find balance, and luckily I did, because that's all. That's an important thing in life.
Balance.
You know, finding balance. But when I went to college, I became more confident rapping in front of people, because I have this friend. Her name is Nia. I had to give her a shout out. Nia, thank you so much.
But I heard how you said it. Hi, Nia.
Like I had at this time, it was a freshman in college. I had like tons of just papers, a notebook filled of songs and poems and poetry, and I think her and I, like we would have talent nights amongst friends, like just come to my room, everybody do talent nights, and
I'm
so
auditioning.
and I went ahead and found so as far as my niche with storytelling, I put that over a beat, and when I did my performance that one night, and in the room, it was amongst company, like my friends and everything, and I was like, yo, this piece is really dope. Like I was just visualizing, I felt everything what you were saying, and that's when she was like, you have to do this Apollo thing, and that's something that A&T has, but at the time I was like, no, I was like, no, like this is for me, this is for y'all, like I just write. And she said, you want to be a rapper, right? I was like, yeah, but you know, I'm scared. She like stop. On some other words other than stop, since we're on air, I can't say it. But nonetheless, she got through me, and she got through to me, and I had went up there and performed. My first performance was garbage, but as far as the presence, but for me, if it wasn't for that moment, which I had took that leap, that step of faith, and got on the stage. It's all about putting yourself in uncomfortable positions to bring about progress in your life, and that's something I had realized, because when I performed, I had my eyes closed, and I just didn't feel comfortable. You could see that, and but the thing that had got me was when I had walked off the stage. Because I was literally just standing in one spot like this, you know, just like I was in the room, because even when I was amongst friends, I was nervous. Oh, wow. And, but when I had walked off stage, I was stopped by multiple people like, yo, like, this is really dope. Like, it sounds like it could be a movie. And wow. I was like, man, you know, I was like, oh, thank you. But I didn't expect that, because for me, I went into my head, I was like, man, like, I bombed it. It went horrible. But the fact that they took something from there, it just brightened me. It gave me motivation to do another piece. So lo and behold, like I guess became muscle memory, where I became more comfortable performing and speaking up, saying, "Yeah, I am a rapper."
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what that is. Yeah.
But think
I'm
about it.
rambling.
You know, no, you're not rambling.
Okay.
I was listening to
Yeah.
you, and I'm thinking about when you said that you stood on stage with your eyes closed, but when you walked off stage, it was dope, is what people are saying to you. And for those who may not know what that means, it is very positive. It is very good.
Yeah.
But people are coming up to you and they're saying they felt, they connected. I would say to those watching, even when you're in your mess, you can still get blessed and be blessed. Even in what you thought was a mess, you got blessed. Because it helped build your
dropping bars in y'all don't even
but
know
at
it.
the same
Y'all don't even
time,
know it.
you were blessing other people. And so I think it goes back to what you were just sharing. You said when you were younger, watching something that maybe your parents didn't really want you to watch.
Yeah.
But God works everything for our good.
All
And I know this
praises.
sounds silly when I was asking you to be on the show, and you were kind of like, "You're serious? Be on the show?"
Yeah.
For me, I'm looking at a king, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is dope, because I'm looking at a king younger than I am. But we all know David was a young king. And for those who don't know your scripture, we'll catch you up later. David was a young king, so was Solomon.
Yeah.
But even though they were younger, God placed them higher, because when they walked in wisdom, he could do more with it. So maybe the difference for you was, even though you didn't see it initially, you were growing in wisdom. As you grew in wisdom, you were being moved along at the pace you could handle. But when you walked off that stage, God needed you to have a few people, just like it was with David, just like it was with Solomon, kind of your court, the king's court, standing there to tell you, "Yo, man, that was dope.
Yeah.
I feel it."
Yeah.
Girls to say, "That's deep." Man, you were able to say what some of us will never be able to put in lyrics. You were able to express, even without me being in the room. Because when you did that, I thought, you walked off stage. Yes, your eyes may have been closed, but I know you're familiar with it. And hopefully, some of you all are. There's this Old Testament scripture that talks about, "And it is marvelous in my eyes," in our eyes.